Hi there folks, it's me, Safari Sam, and today we're going to do a little bit of an experiment. So, I've been wanting to raise a new isopod species. Both the isopods I have are the same species, they're just different morphs. Really wanted to try Porcellio laevis, specifically dairy cows. But, you guys know my favourite spider, the giant orb weaver. The female, specifically, is something that I really like doing husbandry for. And I found another one. She was literally crawling across my belly. And I just thought, hey, you know, don't look a stolen horse in the mouth. Hey? Very handleable spiders when they're out of their crevices. But you can tell it's a female very easily. Super cute. And she's a little injured. Her back leg seemed a little wonky when I caught her. It's not now. Now it seems kind of... Oh, yeah, see how she's kind of dragging one back leg just a little bit? It already looks better than it did before. But she's also missing half of one of her pedipalps. So, yeah, see, she's kind of keeping one leg real close. She's kind of a rescue in a way, in a hat, with a side of sauce. And I figured, hey... what if we do two birds, one stone here as kind of an experiment? We take this little lady right here and we make her a terrarium, but, you know, these girls just hide in their crevices and stuff. So how about... oh, do you think my finger's a crevice? So how about we give her some roommates, specifically some isopods. Now, I have heard that these isopods have a pretty strong feeding response. They can be a little aggressive and they can get kind of big. But I've also heard that they breed out of control. Dairy cows breed like dairy rabbits. They will have babies. They're too easy to take care of. They will have babies. And I was thinking, what if, to keep the dairy cow population under control, they had a solitary, stationary predator that lived with them? But also, what if they even outcompete her? What if, because this is a juvie, this is not the full size of the giant orb weaver, clearly, because it's not giant. Did I say orb again? I keep doing that on accident. My apologies. Thinking of Joros. Giant crevice weaver, but she's not giant yet. But these guys are already kind of big. You'll see them soon. These are actually relatively handleable isopods. Look at them. Look how big they are in there. They can get like to an inch long. They're big for isopods. Really, they are. So, it's possible, especially during her molting time, that these guys could eat her. And while I don't want her to be eaten, if that's what nature wants, that's what nature gets. So I was thinking, what if we made a terrarium that could be kind of an experiment? Can you have a balanced population of dairy cow, Porcellio laevis isopods, with a giant orb weaver spider? Oh, hey! But yeah, these isopods are actually very interesting because they can be out and active during the day. They'll often eat right out of your hand. They have an incredible feeding response. They can't conglobate, which means they can't roll up, but they do have defensive functions. See, just look, I just picked it right up, and it's just going. It's just going. Look how curious it is. Look how unafraid of the light it is. It hopped right out of its container. It did not give a clit. Look at it. It's going buck wild with those antennae. This is a magnificent critter. Magnificent critter. I'm not one of those YouTubers that puts animals together in the hopes that they'll kill each other for views. But the population needs to be controlled. If she can't control the population, then my African bullfrog will. They will become snacks for him. So hopefully this doesn't fail, but this is my favourite spider, and I would like to keep more of them if possible. My other one, Miracle, is great. I was going to name her Mini Miracle, but she won't be Mini forever, you know? So if you can think of a name of this spider, or a name for the colony of dairy cows, let me know. But let's start building this terrarium. Now, I was able to get this little zoom-out enclosure here. That was made specifically for arthropods. So we're going to toss some stuff in here. First up, a big old handful of wet cocoa fibre. Now, the interesting thing about this cocoa fibre is that it's actually full of springtails. Tons of them, which will serve as a cleanup crew for our isopods. There has been debate whether dairy cows make good cleanup crews or not. Probably depends on the animal they're cleaning up for. But I think that this will work out for us, and it just occurred to me I should probably have gloves on. Now, this Zoomad was actually a kit. An arthropod kit. You see, it came with cork bark, which is always good. You can always use more cork bark. It came with this glow-in-the-dark feeding dish, which I'm probably never going to use. One of those little stick-on thermometers that don't work, that just straight up don't work. And then also kind of a care guide for insects and invertebrates, which they put a big giant staple right through. Genius, guys, real smart. But it did come with a quart of creature soil, which is going to go right in. So let's spread out the springtail rich fibre just a bit, and then realise that I didn't cut a big enough hole, and start pouring in our 1 quart mix. This came with it, but I bought another bag, which probably wasn't smart because I already had 2 bags. Not the best move I've ever made, but it was a move. You can't argue against that. The first quart is a nice little layer, but it's really not deep enough. So, second quart it is, but it does have a lot of detritus in it. Little pieces of bark, little pieces of wood. That's really great. Really, really great, actually. It's got a little peat moss, soil, sand, carbon, which is really important. Increases humidity, promotes natural burrowing, and it says it's good for live plants. And I would like to put a live plant in one of these, but oh well. Since it's ideal for invertebrates, let's spread it out kind of thin. Stick a finger in it. It's a good bit deeper now. Might add more. Not entirely sure yet. But I know there are several things I do want to add. Now, you saw that it came with cork bark, but I also picked up a cork hole. Yeah, this cork round will actually do some good, some excellent, great even, some magnificent. You see, this puppy is going to be our spider's home. So I want to kind of put it back in the corner, sticking out towards us, but there's part of me that kind of wants it. Let me show you. So the first option is to dig out a corner and kind of stick it up and out. I think that's very interesting. It looks good, it looks kind of natural, but having it kind of straight sideways would make it a lot easier to look into the glass and see our little body. Because this really is probably the spot where they'll hunker down, whether it's in that or in the soil. I'm really not sure how I want it. I'm kind of leaning for this, cooked to the side here, with the soil kind of pushed down on it, but I don't want our critter to get swarmed inside it, you know? Alright, so what I ended up doing here was taking another cork bag, dumping it on top of the cork round, and then kind of just spreading it out and kind of digging it out a bit. And I really like this look. You can clearly see my fingerprints, but I'm sure that'll be fixed, you know? So those were much more practical items. Now let's look at something a bit more decorative. This Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton. No, she ain't complete. Really no Sue, but you see, this was a piece of resin, a statue, that fell and broke in many places. The tail broke off, leg broke off, fingies broke off. It just really didn't work out for this Rexy. But I think I can sculpt over the broken parts and use it as a cool piece of fossil display. Like, oh, maybe the Isopods picked it clean, or maybe they've dug it up while they were digging for food, you know, something cool like that. It doesn't have to be a T-Rex. I know the Isopods aren't gigantic. It could be a smaller Tyrannosaur. It could be a Morus intrepidus, something like that. A baby. It's up to your imagination. But for a different project that also involves fossils in terrariums, I have this epoxy. And I've been working on this other video longer, but this one you're watching now is probably up first. So yeah, if I take this and I mix the two together, it'll make kind of a sculpting clay that I can sculpt over those parts, to kind of make it look like it's still in rock a little bit, and also cover the parts that are clearly resin. So let's take a little from each, and we will mix them together, and the chemical compounds will react with each other and harden, but you really got to mix it in. And in all honesty, I could put a tiny bit more of the grey in there, but I have used this exact kind before, and it is already brown, which is really helpful because I won't have to use any aquarium safe paint, which is good because I'd have to buy the paint and brushes. And if you're wondering why that sounded so pained to say, it is because I just had a back spasm. Yay me. But you see, you get it all good and mixed, and then I can pull a little part off and, let's say, cover up where the fingies were. I know it's a very different brown, but it'll look better when it cures. Maybe not perfect, but better. Yeah. Now also, you see we've got a missing leg. I actually kept the leg just in case I could use it for another project kind of like this. There we go. Kind of a nub, but it looks like it's just covered in the rock it was petrified in, yeah? And let's take another pinch to kind of cover up the belly here. Don't want anyone laying eggs in there, right? That's good, that's good. And then the last little bit will go on the little crested gecko tail nub. Push it, but I don't want it like super flat. I kind of want it rounded, like a crested gecko tail nub, a little frog butt. Yeah, so that's it. We covered all of these little broken pieces, and we are going to leave it overnight to cure. That's usually all the time it takes, is like 12 hours. And I'll check it in the morning. But right now, let's get back to the critters. Let's go ahead and pop our cork bark in there, which we probably shouldn't have done because there's some things I want to mix into the soil. I have some leftover cuttlebone from a couple of reptile expos ago, and I'm going to mix it into the soil so that the isopods have some calcium. So now that that's all mixed in, I can add my palm fronds from the Biodude. And it wouldn't be an isopod enclosure without purified leaf litter, now would it? So I'll be tearing and crumpling up all of this detritus so that they can have something to eat, hide under, things like that. And then this side is where these sticks will kind of go. I want to have them kind of sticking up out of everything, like they fell out of the tree along with the log, perhaps. That's nice. That I really like. And then this can go kind of back where it was. And I wanted to put some sphagnum moss here in the front corner. That'll help with humidity. And they also need a moisture gradient. So this is going to be kind of the real moist half, and this will be the drier half over here. But we also have a touch of shrimp moss underneath the logs here, And on the side there, I might add a little more. I just wanted it to be a little greener, you know? And before I hit pause on recording to let things settle in, I do want to go ahead and put our little girl in here. I want to give her some time to crawl around, you know, find a place to make her own, which will hopefully be the cave entrance here. Come on, little lady. Come right on out into my hand. Good girl. Now, you want it? Nope, wrong direction. Ooh! She went right in, and then she crawled right out. But there's not really any harm in letting her explore. Now, is there? Nah. Let her explore. Let her find a place where she feels comfortable and safe. And when she dies and starts to make her nest, her web, that is when we will add the isopods. I want to go ahead and do that because we have to wait for the T-Rex skeleton to cure anyway. So that is it for today. I'm going to go ahead and make this a two-parter just because I don't know how long... Oh, where are you going? Just because I don't know how long I'm going to have to really sit on this footage. But yeah, I'm just going to keep an eye out on our little princess here. And hopefully I can do just a video on her species in the future, just as a whole, since I got a lot of footage of this species. But she really is magnificent. I hope she finds a nice little hole to call her own. Hopefully the hole that I mean, I built her a damn mansion. The entrance might be a little big for her. That was the thinnest cork tube I could find. Cork hole. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. But that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. You can check out our Patreon, where we have a tier just for Safari Sam that gets lots of cool exclusive stuff. And you would have known about this like half a year ahead of time if you were subscribed to the Safari Sam tier, which is pretty incredible. But that is it. Thank you all once again for your support, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.